Hi everyone, David Aragona here with Craig Milkowski, and we are taking a look at the future race at Churchill Downs on Saturday. It is race 10, the Dream Supreme Stakes, going 6 furlongs on the main track. And Craig, as we throw up the field for this race, it's yet another matchup between the two top female sprinters in Kentucky, Sconson and Bell's the One. It seems like these two have traded decisions a lot this year, and they'll face off once again on Saturday.
Yeah, there's I forget the exact amount. I think it's 5 or 6 times they faced each other. Neither one seems to have a big edge over the other, so should be another good matchup.
Yeah, I think Bell's the One is the slight favorite on the morning line, or maybe it's the. I'm not actually seeing the morning line right now. Yes, Bell's the One is the slight favorite at 7-5 over 9-5 on Sconson. These two do figure to take the bulk of the money in the wagering. We also have Frank's Roquette, who faced off against Bell's the One last time. Club Car put in a good last effort. A couple of long shots down towards the inside, Craig, but a few of those long shots, they could have an impact on the pace of this race. And let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, because the number 2 and the number 3, LZ and Vintage Ready, both have plenty of early speed.
Yeah, they both are really quick. We don't have this race designated as one that's likely to have a fast pace because they're really the only 2 speed horses in here. I guess you could argue Frank's Roquette is as well, but she's kind of lost her speed lately, whether by choice or just by she's getting older and not quite what she once was. But in the end, I think these two are really quick, and I do think we're going to get a nice, honest pace in here. Both of the favorites you mentioned have been in a lot of races where we have it coated with blue fractions, but I don't think we're going to see that here.
Yeah, and I don't think either one of us really view Vintage Ready or LZ as win candidates in this race, but let's take a look at their PPs in Timeform US, and it's pretty easy to see a lot of ones scattered across the past performances of both of these horses, Craig.
Yeah, exactly. And it's particularly with Vintage Ready. I mean, she is definitely a need to lead type runner. You can see the one time she didn't get it, she ran her fastest pace figure because she wasn't very happy to be back there, apparently. It doesn't look like she rates very well. But make no mistake, LZ is pretty quick in her own right. She's made the lead in some of those shorter turf sprints. She's run on dirt with some success. So I would imagine these two are at the very worst going to give an honest pace, which is something we haven't seen in a lot of the matchups between Bell's the One and Sconson.
I will mention LZ's trainer, Chris Hartman, is in the midst of a monster run in Kentucky. He's winning at over 30% with a really healthy ROI. She does have some Timeform US speed figures that say that maybe she could handle the step up in class, but you can see both of those, that green font on the brown background, those are off the turf races, as you can see in Timeform US PPs. That's how they're notated. So she'll be facing a field of dirt horses that have been entered for the dirt for the first time in a little while. Craig, let's take a look at the likely favorite, Bell's the One, in her victory last time out in the Thoroughbred Club of America Stakes. She was actually facing off against 2 of the same horses that she'll meet here, both Frank's Roquette and Club Car. Bell's the One made her typical late run from off the pace, and she got up to win, but she made it kind of close at the end.
Yeah, she did, but that's often going to be the case with a deep closer like her. There was a little bit of pace in here. The fractions aren't in blue, but she was able to get the job done. I thought Club Car ran pretty well in this spot. She was a pretty big price that day, was only beating a neck. And the real disappointment that we're going to talk about later is Frank's Roquette, who actually looked like she was going to be a major force the last furlong and just kind of dropped out of it.
Yeah, I guess my one knock against Bell's the One is that while she does get the job done, she's not winning by large margins. She keeps it pretty close. I thought that 2 back when she faced off against Sconson, it looked like she was going to go by, and then she just kind of hung a little bit in the late stages. I noticed that tendency to hang a little bit last time as well in the TCA when it seemed like she was going to win that race by a length or 2 at mid-stretch, and she just didn't really put that field away. I mean, again, she might just be the kind of deep closer that just does what she has to do to get her nose in front in the stretch, and we'll see if that's good enough to beat Sconson on this occasion. But you can see, as Craig has highlighted, these two have traded plenty of decisions in the past, and Bell's the One and Sconson also are accustomed to overcoming some slow paces, Craig, as you can see some of those blue color-coded pace figures scattered through her PP is not really a problem for Bell's the One.
No, yeah, what I was trying to highlight there, and there's actually a few more matchups between these two, is it seems like Bell's the one struggles a little bit to beat Sconson when the pace is slow. Sconson definitely has a little better tactical speed and seems to get the jump on her. But when we get a more honest pace like we did back in June and a few of the more older races in the PPs, it seems like Bell's the one gets the better of her. So of the two, as we're going to get to, I very slightly prefer Bell's the one, but it really is a toss up. I mean, it's just hard to find much between them.
We'll take a look at the PPs of her main rival, Sconson. Sconson did not participate in that Thoroughbred Club of America. She last raced in Bell's the One's effort 2 back when she beat her in the open mind at Churchill Downs. And Craig, I did not think Bell's the One had a major excuse that day because both fillies were similarly positioned towards the back of the pack. I guess Sconson did get first run on Bell's the One, as she often does, as you pointed out. But Bell's the One had every chance to get by her, and Sconson just held her at bay. I thought Tyler Gaffalione rode her pretty confidently that day, and the half-length margin of victory was legitimate. Sconson was just the better horse that day, so we'll see what transpires on this occasion. Sconson, it does appear that she has the slightly more versatile running style.
Yeah, she does for sure, and that's a little bit of an advantage. I also highlighted in this graphic how well she's done at Churchill. She's 2 for 2 running 6 furlongs. She's run first or second 6 out of 7 times. So she obviously loves the track, but so does Bell's the One. She has very good stats there as well. And again, I just wanted to highlight the 2 prior matchups that weren't in Bell's the One's graphic, where you can see Bell's the One finished ahead of her. Now, you could argue Sconson wasn't in her best form there, but I would also say it was a race that had a much quicker, more honest pace that day, and it just showed Bell's the One can outkick her, in my opinion, if she does get pace.
Let's move on to the final contender we're going to talk about. That is the outside drawn Frank's Rocket. Craig, as you said, a horse that has plenty of early speed, but it seems like her connections are a little bit stubborn about that. They don't like to send her to the front. And in this race, with all the other speed signed on to her inside, I don't think she's going to have a chance to make the lead. They're going to have to go for a stalking position here. Just seems like maybe she's not the horse that she once was.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at here. I actually wanted to pick her when I saw the post draw. She drew outside, decent post. Figured she could track off the speed, but I've just been disappointed in what I saw this year. I actually used the DRF graphics here so we could see more of her running lines, and she was just so good last year. She was winning graded stakes races. Her connections thought highly enough of her to run her in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. She didn't run well that day, and I wonder if maybe that race didn't take a toll. Her finish positions this year look pretty good, but she just hasn't run near the same speed figure she was running last year, and that's something you don't want to see from a 4-year-old. They should be improving if they're moving in the right direction, and I just don't see it from her. And as I noted earlier, she made that big move. She was only a head off the lead with a furlong to go and just kind of threw in the towel. So I'm much against her in this spot.
And Craig, I know you sent in a DRF formulator fact for Frank's Rocket. Not exactly Bill Mott's forte with these older filly and mare sprinters running in non-graded stakes. Interesting thing about this stat is if you look at Frank's Rocket's PPs, she actually accounts for both of the wins in this sample.
Yeah, and they're very short prices as well. I think one of them was at 1 to 10. I forget what the other one was, but this is obviously a much tougher spot. It's, as you said, not a strength of Bill Mott to win in these type situations. So she's one of the contenders. I'm going to leave her out of the top, of the exact at least. I think I have her picked in 4th.
And with that, we'll throw up our picks for this race. And Craig, we pretty much agree. We just flip-flopped the top 2. You prefer Bell's the One a little bit more, hoping she gets that pace that she needs. I went with Sconson. Both of these fillies figured to vie for favoritism. And, you know, it's not really the subject of this video, but I kind of wonder what they would have done in a race like the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint last week, given the way that played out. They chose not to play in that race. I think they might have had an opportunity to take advantage, but they're going to go for this non-graded stakes at Churchill instead.
Yeah, it does have a big purse, 300,000. That's not your typical non-graded stakes. I think either one of them could have been there. CC ran very well. I don't know if they would have been able to beat her, but I certainly think they would have given her a run for her money to the wire.
Well, as I said, it's Bell's the One for Craig, Sconson for me in the Dream Supreme on Saturday at Churchill Downs. Good luck if you're playing this weekend.